All right, so ladies and gentlemen, today we are looking at random numbers. So in your toolbox area for your web lab, you have drawing tools and now you have some math tools. So random number is under the math tool section. And it says you have a new block in the math drawer called random number. If you make your drawings with a random number, it will look a little bit different every time you run your program. You can learn about the block hovering over it by the toolbox and choosing see example. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and hit that. But again, headphones. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hit. I'm gonna turn my grid on because I always do. I'm gonna make this as large as possible because I always do. And I'm going to go ahead and hit run. All right, so there is a orange background with an oranger circle on it. If I reset run, notice what happens. Every time I run the program, what is happening to my circle? It's moving. Because if you look at my code for the ellipse, the first variable, which is my x position, right? Yes. Bring me your computer. Yeah, it does.
It's moving now?
Yes, please. Okay, so look at the code for ellipse, guys. Remember how when we do a shape, we have the x position, comma, y position, comma, the width, and then the height or something like that? My first number is a random number. And it's saying pick any number for my x position between 0 and 400. That's what that code means. So when you drag a random number in to any of your spots, what it's saying is you're letting the computer decide within some variable. Now, this is saying between 0 to 400. You could say between 0 to 200. You could say between 10 and 15. You can make the span anything you wanted, but it is literally going to assign it a random number between, and for this one, it's the x position. So the x position is changing randomly. The y position is set. The height and width are also set. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hit finish on that. Oh, okay. Apparently I forgot. Oh, it wants me to click on the example. There we go. Yeah, see example. No. Reset, run, finish. I don't want to keep working. Why is this? See example. Oh, okay. And it won't let me go there. Awesome. There is clearly some kind of bug in this, but that's okay. We are going to go to the second one. Normally you should be able to hit, maybe you guys can hit finish. Maybe it's just mine because I had mine open. Okay. All right. No problem. All right. Bubble 2, random number. Here's the same sun from last time, but now our x coordinate is random. But you can also make the y coordinate random as well. Do this. Use random number generator for the ellipse's y parameter, so that the circle is drawn in a random y position too. As long as your circle is appearing in a random x and a y position, you can move on. So what are we going to do? We are going to put a random number into my y position. So I'm going to go to my math drawer. I am going to grab random number. I'm going to put it in my y position, which is right there. And I'm going to give it whatever random, assignment I want. And I want it to go anywhere on the screen, which would be from 0 to 400. Now, sometimes maybe you want to make it go from 50 to 100. Maybe you want to make it go from 10 to 382. I don't know. But as long as it's somewhere on this screen, you're okay. So let's go ahead and do a reset run. And I forgot to turn my grid on. So it's showing up there. Reset run. Now it's over here. So my X and my Y position are both changing randomly. Reset run. Oh, there it is again. Reset run. Oh, now it's all the way over there. Again, all I'm doing is telling it, randomly pick an X position for me because I don't care. Randomly pick a Y position for me because I don't care. And then my height and width are standard. Once you're done with that, go ahead and hit finish. Continue. Bubble 3. All right, so variables can be assigned to random numbers as well. Let's do this and save a single random value so you can use as many times as you want in your program. Assign a random value to the variable I size so that the eyes automatically change size every time you run the program. Remember, the left and the right eye should always match each other. All right, cool. So I'm going to make my workspace a little bit larger. I'm going to turn my grid on and I'm going to run this. Now, every time I run this, my eyes are the same. See that? But if I go into my math drawer and I grab a random number generator, and I'm going to put that here. Now, obviously, I don't want to do this from 0 to 400 because that would be really big and it would completely cover the entire face. So maybe I'm going to do a random number. I'll make them small. Let's say maybe 25. And then pretty big. Maybe I'll go all the way to 100. And again, you can pick whatever numbers you want, but all we're saying is make the variable eye size any number you want. And again, I'm picking between 25 and 100. You can pick whatever range of numbers you like. So now if I reset run this, eyes are big, eyes are bigger, eyes are huge, eyes are smaller. Maybe I'll go a little bit smaller to see if it makes it like tiny, tiny. So again, all we're doing is we're creating a random eye size. And you'll notice it's in the variable. So that means anytime I use this eye size variable, that random number is being called up. Because again, all a random number is exactly that. The program is going to pick any number from the range that you give it to assign to that parameter. Once you're all set there, go ahead and hit finish. All right, so these two flowers can use a single variable to store their petal size, but the value stored in the variable changes in the middle of the program. Run the program several times to see how it works and discuss the code with your partner. So obviously I am partnering with you all on this. Change the program so that the flowers have random petal sizes like in the image. So you'll notice in the image, both of these flowers, every time it runs, have different petal sizes, which is okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run this. Let me close off my instructions, turn on my grid. So every time I run this, I'm getting pretty much the same exact flowers. Okay, cool. So what I want then is I need to assign this a random number. So I'm going to go into my math drawer, and actually I want to fix my variable. I'll declare the variable down here. So I'm going to rename the variable petal size, right? Because that's what I decided to call it. Petal size. That's a capital S. Yes, it is. And I'm going to go into my math drawer and pull out a random number. And I don't know, let's go from 25 all the way up to 150, because why not? Okay. And reset run. All I did was I went into my variable drawer first, because I already said the var petal size, right? So but there was no value attached to it. So I need to declare a value. So I'm going to assign the variable a value using the one that says x equals. I pulled that over. I named the variable petal size, and then random number 25 to 50. Now, when I run this, is anything happening? No, it's not. It's not working. So clearly, that's not working. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that because that's actually kind of dumb. It's redundant code. Here, let's try that. So maybe 25 to 150. Let's try it there. And again, part of coding, guys, is that you're going to screw up, and that's okay. So reset run. Okay, so what is the problem that I'm having now? I mean, it's changing, but what's going on with the one underneath? What's going on with the second flower here? It's not changing. So why is the second one not changing? I didn't code for it. Where is it? Give me a line of code to change. So line 15. Okay. So if I again create a random number here, and again maybe this one I'm going to go from 10 all the way up to 200 because why not? Now is it working? And the cool thing is they are showing up at different sizes randomly. And that's what we wanted to do. Now, I would argue that these numbers are probably a little bit too big because if you get to the point where they're too big, it stops looking like a flower and just kind of looks like a purple blob. But you get the idea. Now, notice I had to do this twice because remember, all a program knows how to do is follow directions. Computers are kind of dumb. It goes in order. All right. Is anybody still having a hard time with this one? And if so, pop on up and see me so I can help you figure it out before we move on to bubble 5. Anybody, anybody, anybody? Okay. I'm going to assume that means your program's working. Mm-hmm. All right. So bubble 5 is yours. So that is your practice. Make sure you get both A and B done. Bubble 6 is yours as well. So pretty much you want this to, when you run this, first of all, it needs to look like this. And secondly, um, it's kind of like a little rainbow snake, rainbow worm, whatever we're calling it. Well, you guys have to do 5. I'm just showing you what you need to do. And 6, you need to make a full rainbow snake, and the rainbow snake needs to kind of move up and down like the beginning of this rainbow snake is. And as always, bubble 7, the challenges are completely optional, but you are welcome to try them. So you have the remainder of the time to work on bubbles 5 and 6. As always, if you need help, pop on up and ask for help. All right, cool. Have at it.